Am I the asshole for wanting to share wake-ups with my wife when our baby needs a feed? We had a beautiful baby boy 5 months ago. My partner has breastfed for most of this, so has been waking up to do the feeds. Today we were discussing what happens after weaning. I suggested that we could start sharing it on a rotation. She said that no. I'll be doing it all because I owe 5 to 6 months of disturbed sleep. I'm working full-time while she's on maternity leave. I, perhaps insensitively, said that I need to be able to function properly, whereas she doesn't need to think that much at present. Am I being unreasonable to look at the next stage as a new beginning to be shared rather than time to repay what's due?
Mostly you. For one thing, many parents who aren't the breastfeeding partners still get up at night. You can get up, bring the baby to your wife and do a diaper change so your wife can just sleepily nurse. Also, if she can pump often, you can do a feed on your own. You've been letting your wife do it all cheerfully and only thought about how that would feel once she turned it around on you. Also, caring for a baby all day and night is incredibly taxing. Her sleep matters just as much as yours. Do you want a chronically sleep-deprived person responsible for keeping your child alive? She sucks mildly because it's not fair to be petty and stick you with all nighttime feedings because you did the same to her. Additionally, by the time your kid is weaning, the nighttime feedings will be much less infrequent, possibly only one a night. So even splitting them equally, you'll still be doing less than half of what she did.
Your request is reasonable. Unfortunately, you said something very insensitive as well.
No assholes here. I get where your wife is coming from. Lack of sleep and being a human milk factory is a hard double whammy, but did she try to pump and bottle feed so you could share nighttime responsibilities? Especially if she is at home and you are working, sharing the burden seems like the fairest thing. Maybe designate a weekend night, morning where you take the whole night and let her sleep in, if you're open to it. This is a brutal time period for a relationship, and keeping score is not a healthy or team-building habit. You guys just need to find a way to look at this as a problem that you are tackling as a team, and then make a plan that the whole team is comfortable with.
Geez, I've always thought having a baby with a shared experience with shared responsibilities. Person shrugging, female sign.
Not the asshole, but the way you said it was pretty bad. It is unreasonable to be doing all the night feeds if you are working. It would sort of be a fair trade if she was going to work for the next 6 months and you stayed home.
I was unaware that sleep time was debt that accrued. Not the asshole. She can and should sleep when the baby sleeps. You can pay your debt, if that's what she wants to call it, by helping with other things more than you did before, laundry, cooking, etc. A baby is more work for everyone, but not necessarily the same work. Not the asshole. Maybe you should try to tell her in another way. Just suppose that now you take a 6-month leave and take care of the child, and she should work full-time to pay the bills. Thinking face, winking face.
Not the asshole. If you're working and she's on maternity, then her sleep is less valuable. Also, to bottle up, no pun intended, months of sleep debt like that was quite churlish. Are you sure you should have had a baby with her?
You are the asshole. You pretty much told your wife she doesn't deserve sleep or to be rested. And why? Because she isn't working at a job right now. It's hard to understand how much it takes out of a body to grow and birth a human, and the months after are actually called the 4th trimester because of all the crazy changes to your body. Added to that is often painful breastfeeding and lack of sleep due to getting up every couple hours for feeding. You feel delirious. It's nuts to say this as a new beginning, and really insulting to your probably exhausted wife. Being a SOM is 24/7, so no, you don't get a pass for working full-time. Support your wife. You're not repaying her, you're taking care of your child.
You should apologize to your wife for insensitive comments and try to compromise. Any night when you do not have to get up for work the next day, take over getting up with your baby. It will do her wonders to get a full night of sleep without interruptions. Because she doesn't need to be able to function well when she's taking care of your child?
I'm going with everyone sucks here, 90% you, because if I understand correctly, she was the only one to get up ever since the baby was born. The reason why I sympathize with your wife is because I have semi-frequent panic attacks that wake me up. Sleep deprivation is one hell of a ride for one day already, and your wife has been sleep deprived for months. I always fear moms for how well they can hold it together with so little sleep. She's probably desperate for a night of quality sleep, and while I think it's overkill that only you have to get up if you work full-time, I also feel like it's your duty to step up more when you're able to, meaning you should take the duty off her shoulders on most nights once it's possible. And just my opinion, but it's way less stressful to go to work than to look after a newborn. This comes from a person who only had to watch a newborn for like a day.
Everyone sucks here except the baby.
Nah. What you said might have been a little mean but mostly true. The first year is hard. You'll get through. Gets a lot easier when the middle of the night feedings end.
She doesn't need to think that much while looking after a small child. You're the asshole for that alone. While her request is a little too far, I can see why she thinks you should take over the lion's share of the feedings.
Definitely the asshole for insinuating the sleep deprivation won't affect parenting, not the asshole for wanting to share wake time during the night when weaning is done. I think you have a lot of comments from dudes or people who aren't actually parents. Breastfeeding is a big job. Even pumping and supplementing with formula or any kind of bottle feeding is a big challenge to juggle on your own, because you're supposed to pump even when baby drinks formula or from a bottle to keep supply up. Sleep deprivation is long-lasting and it will take your wife time to recover. And you're looking at not being able to completely wean before baby is 1 year old, realistically speaking, so it's probably more than just 5 to 6 months. Can you imagine having no single night without interruption for an entire year? Sharing and taking turns is a step in the right direction, but I really don't think she's the asshole for wanting you to be the one with the sleep debt for a while, especially if she plans on going back to work.
Info: when is the weaning happening? Will she still be on maternity leave?